welcome back to the Tiger Sports Show in our new time slot, Saturday mornings at 10 o'clock. We're coming at you live here. I'm coming at you live from Wild Goose Flower Farm, and my co-host Trent Mays is coming at you live but depleted. He's had a tough week from his home. How you doing, Trenter?
I'm in the financial district of Hastings, officially the heart.
Right in the shadow of all those fans.
Actually, the funniest part is I'm literally probably half a block from the highest point in town, which is 9th and Burlington. So
you're like the Lord up in the manor.
No, I'm just below the mayor in that category. So,
all right, Trenter. Well, I know you're tired from a long week, but the Tiger football game last night had to lift your spirits a little bit. What's your takeaways from the game? What's your number one takeaway from the ball game last night?
I liked the balance they had. Cynic was very efficient passing. I think he was 21 of 26. A lot of flat passes. They threw the screen game was going to, and then we hit some passes downfield. They tried to take a couple shots. I also like the running game. They have a 1-2 punch with Naz Robinson and Cooper Cole. They combined for almost 200 yards rushing. Naz hit the 100-yard club again at 159 unofficial. And then the defense. They, according to KHS Radio and my former player Trent Ockingay, who's doing the
Blue Hill grad.
We have Blue Hill grad. We love the Blue Hill grads. They held Pius to under 50 yards rushing. Pius, I listened to pregame on the way over. Pius is starting quarterback. Bug has hit them this week. So, and plus they've played 4 games already. This is their 4th game. So, very efficient. We talked last week about being balanced on offense. I think they kept them off balance. Those of you who were at the game and it ended after 9:30 know why. The yellow flags were flying like crazy. So
that wasn't good. A lot of penalty problems really on both teams, but the Tigers have got to clean that up. Heading to Seward next week. What are your thoughts heading to Concordia, University as they call it now?
Yeah.
Concordia
Seward was undefeated and rated. Seward was undefeated and rated. They got upset by Junior Northwest. Our friends from up 281, 13-7. Surprised me because Seward really scored a lot of points their first game. I found out doing some research last night that our friends from up 281, the Vikes, they were trying to recover from losing 2 offensive linemen. So I think, and like Coach Shue said in the paper today, it's just going to be another prize fight. They're going to take some punches like we have with Seward every time we go there.
Well, to me, the Seward game is a lot like the Pius game last night. When you looked at the schedule at the beginning of the year and you're like, okay, how do the Tigers get to 5 or 6 wins and maybe have a nice draw in the playoffs? You said, boy, you're going to need to win some games like Pius at home and Seward on the road. So a big one for the Tigers next week.
And I just like the depth. They got Kellen Jones back, big fan of the show, former little Husker. I coached him, and he got a spark. And then they didn't use Clark. They didn't use him on offense. I was looking for the double nickel. I love that we have a soft spot in our hearts for the double number. He didn't play any offense.
For your mom to see you. Just easier for your mom to see you.
Yeah, I mean, we like the double numbers, but he didn't play any offense. I was watching for him, but just getting the spark of their leader back, Kellen Jones up front. They opened a lot of holes up front.
He did a nice job long snapping too.
Well, and that obviously
he was good in the long snapping game. Yeah,
and just having the depth where they were just the depth where they were rotating guys because it was a little warm yesterday. It's going to be a little cooler this week, but just not playing Carlos, just playing him on defense, playing Clark on defense. They did lose the Dreer kid probably for the year, the sophomore who had such a great start. He was injured in the JV game on Monday, but guys just stepped up on the back end and stuff. And I just like the depth they have on both offense. They're moving guys in and out. So.
Well, a great win, 37-13. The penalties, a little bit of a concern, but my biggest fail last night, Trent, you know what my biggest fail was? We had
What's
a fantastic show. Tigerettes looked great. The cheerleaders came out, did more acrobatic stunts than I've seen out of them in a while. Great show. The band did half of their show with a lot of Coldplay. I know you're a big Coldplay fan, so you were fired up about that. And then they finished though with the school song. And what happened in the student section, Trent?
I think that was I'm trying to think where I was. I think was I talking
absolutely nothing. They just sat there, Trent. They just sat there.
Clap. They didn't clap.
And otherwise a good school student section night. I thought they were loud. I thought they were enthused. They just sat through the school song, Trent. That's a fail.
So
student section gets an F last night.
So they played it at the end of their performance while they're in the middle of the field? Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
On the field. It was a little bit of a surprise. The parents got up. The parents figured it out, and they're old people, Trent. They're old. The student section, F. They get an F last night.
Oh, man. Oh, and just the second half. We were down 13-10 at half. They showed a lot of moxie in the second half. The coaches drew some things up on the iPad and stuff and made some things. We outscored them 27-0, shut them out. And with the 3 touchdowns in the game and the pick six to seal it. And then they had a big drive to start the fourth.
Did you see what Coach Itzen did to neutralize Pius' best receiver, the Sanders kid?
Nope,
Schaefer's kid. They moved Heinrichs. They moved him. He was his best friend. He just moved with him all over the field. He ended up getting that pick 6 on that.
Yeah, Heinrichs is 6'3" guard, 6'3" corner, and I've coached a little that way. So I've ran into a few little guys who we mirrored, and we might have ran a few wide kids at him.
Landon's definitely 6'4", Trent. You know how I know?
How?
Because he's taller than me, and you know I'm a legit 6'3".
No, you're 6'1". You're shrinking just like our father. But
right.
I've mirrored a few guys in my day and won some big football games. A few Wideners I've had a mirror. So,
excuse me. All right. Well, let's move on to today, Trent. We've got a big day out at the softball complex. We've got the Tigers' entry into the Eastern Midlands Conference. Big step up in conference competition. I don't think anybody will deny that. What are you looking for out at the Tigers at Smith hosting their first EMC competition?
Well, it'll be my first thing, and somebody brought it up last night. I'm curious how many students in the EMC teams that are coming know where Hastings is. That was an interesting point from a person that was in an Omaha school. They didn't know where Aurora was when they went to play there. So
those are strong schools with good geography departments.
Yeah, they probably do. I just thought it was interesting. But the EMC, they have the second wild card point. Oh, that's the first time I've seen the bracket. So the EMC has the second wild card points team going in as of 9:00 this morning. Blair, the Blair Bears. Hastings is 3rd. Elkhorn North is 4th. Bennington is 5th. And Waverly is just outside the top 10. So there's a lot of powerful teams. Coach Blake, the will open with Norris today. They're fresh off the Kearney Catholic game on Thursday, which was just unreal with all the walks and them not pitching their stud. They're hoping to get another crack at Elkhorn North. We saw them earlier. They're hoping
that'll be a second round
game, and we'll just see how the ladies can do. They got the pop. I won't say
up
the
a couple touchdowns a night.
Oh yeah, they're putting up runs. But they're playing Blake ball. They were ready for the fast pitcher, the stud on Thursday. They didn't get her, so they adjusted. Blake ball, we use that in baseball. We're going to take some pitches. We're going to hit it hard when we have to and can, but we're going to get base runners on. And Hayden Lauk set the stage on Thursday, and she probably will today. She was a little road runner around the bases, stole home, and did you know what she did that I'd never seen? She picked up the bat and the catcher's helmet and started going back to our dugout. The catcher followed her to our dugout and said, "I need that." So I don't know what Hayden was doing, but Hayden was motoring, and she was motoring back to the dugout. So they've got speed. They got a 1-2 punch with Maddie and Oshner. I can't think of her name, but they got a 1-2 punch. They're a little different pitchers. Oshner lives in the dirt. I think that's how I would classify her pitching. And they got power and they got speed, and the freshmen are stepping up at the bottom of the order. And those are the girls that get on, and then the big bats come up at the top. So Brooke Oshner.
Well, they'll open with Norris, a team they've beaten. Hopefully get onto the winner's side of the bracket, and then you would run into Elkhorn North, the only team to beat the Tigers. Beat them 8-7 as we traveled to the suburbs last week. And then, of course, the Blair Bears, top-rated team in the EMC, would be waiting at the end of the row. It's going to be good to see where this Tiger team, a young Tiger team, fits in the Eastern Midlands Conference. I think a lot of people around town are kind of wondering where we end up, and we'll see today.
And it's
let's
funny.
talk cross-country, Trent. We've got some wins on
yeah, just real quick. They're in the heart of their schedule. Their regular season's almost over. It's weird that this is only the second time they've been at home. So,
we're about to have a big homestand.
Yeah.
We've got EMC, then we're hosting the Islanders on Monday, hosting the Platters of North Platte on Thursday, and then the Hastings Invite next Saturday. Always one of the best tournaments in the state.
Yes, definitely. And then cross country.
All right. Cross country, couple big wins. They went over to Aurora. The boys swept the team title. The girls finished second, and the Tigers won the overall. Then last week, they opened the season up in the big country up at Boone Central and Albion. The boys were also champions up there, and the girls finished second there too. So tremendous start. What are your thoughts? We've had a couple different winners. Diego won up at Boone Central, and then
Carrera.
I'm just double checking. Aurora, yeah, Carrera. Austin Carrera was the champion.
Oh, I got a little
great.
I had a pre-bus conversation with Coach Rickert yesterday. Literally, as she's walking to the bus, we were in the South Gym for PE and T3, and I was a bit surprised when I saw Carrera run because he's been banged up to start the year, and it was great to see that. And challenged the boys the last 2 weeks. I ran into a group of them. I think Struce was in that group, and I said, "You guys gonna go 1, 2, 3, get all top 5?" And they said, "Yep." Then they walked right off. So,
all right. Well, and the girls are getting of course, Kellen Henry Perlich is back and performing well, but seeing some great results from Sophia Reynolds, a youngster. I think was their top runner at Aurora and maybe at Boone too. So exciting time for cross country. We'll look at the schedule in just a little bit, but we should talk tennis before we get to that. Trent, have you followed the tennis results at all?
Yes, I have. I speak frequently with Coach Goose. So,
well, you got to be liking what you're seeing. A lot of wins. Up to the Columbus Invite, got the first invitational championship for Hastings tennis in several years, led by Parker Ablett and Braden Power, who won their bracket up at Columbus. And then Alex Hafer was second in number 2 singles, and Ethan Zimmerman and Connor George were second in number 2 doubles. And then they've gotten a couple wins in the duels, beating Norfolk 5-0, beating Lincoln High. Just a lot going on out the tennis courts, Trenner.
Yeah, they learned a lot I think they learned a lot from the McCook when they ran into the Bison last week, the defending Class B champs. Coach Goose is loving his numbers, and they're hitting the road. They're going east and west. It doesn't matter to Coach Goose and the boys. And just I think they have a lot of depth. They got 2 basketball players out, and Power and Ablett. They have a lot of height there, so they can cover the court. And I'll try to get out and watch Coach Goose and the boys this week.
I want to see you. Yeah, I want to see that folding chair of yours. I want to see it out at a tennis match.
Oh, that chair and I aren't getting along too well because it's really deep and I'm getting stuck a lot. So
I've got a walking stick down in my room that belonged to Dave Packard. You could take that walking stick and use it to stand up.
I almost needed a wheelchair yesterday or a walker. I had to go get some kids last night, some Pius kids. Vice kids were very nice last night. I give them a ton of credit. They said, yes, sir, we'll go back. They didn't argue. But I did ask if I could use it.
You have shut down the football in that north end zone, Trent. There's nothing going on out
there. They hang out in the back and they hang out between the arena and the football field. But the funniest part was I asked Danielson if I could borrow the gator to go over there because they probably would have been home and in bed by the time I motored over there without the gator, but I lucked it out. And then I talked to Flipside guy, Chris Shukai.
I don't want you on that gator, Trent. I'm one vote against you on the gator. I don't want to see that.
I can drive a gator. I drove hey, just real quick. I drove the Bobcat when they got it at the maintenance yard when I was there before. So pipe down, buddy.
I don't want you on the gator. You're not going to convince me.
The Bobcats worked and I drove that. So
quick note on volleyball. Volleyball went 2-2 out at Lex last week with wins over Chase County and the host Minute Maids. They lost in 3 sets to Grand Island Tuesday. Would have liked to have seen them get after the Islanders. That puts the Islanders up on us 1-0 this year. Hopefully volleyball on Monday can get us up on those jokers up north. And I think we got about 2 minutes left, Trent. Let's look at the schedule next week, see what pops for us. Here's Monday. It's 9/11, Trent. Looks like we've got several home contests. Girls golf down to only a couple girls this year because of some transfers and some moves, just kind of some bad luck. But Coach Cafferty's got them rolling. They're going to be hosting the Islanders, so maybe we can pick up a win out there too. Could be a great day over the Islanders.
Cafferty on Friday coming back with her Suburban, so I helped her get back into the bus yard. I'll be out at the softball game. Always find going to be a fun night with the Swamp Rats. It's a double hitter. It should, hopefully the rain is done by then, but Monday will be a fun night because it's only their 3rd home game of the year.
All right. Here's Tuesday, Tiger Golf at home again with their big invite. Boys tennis versus GI. I want to see that win streak keep going. Boy, we could pick up a bunch of wins over the Islanders on Monday and Tuesday. And then a big triangular. Northwest comes to town for volleyball. And according to the Tribune, I'm hearing a lot about Minden volleyball. That Minden volleyball team is supposed to be pretty good. They're in the Tribune all the time, Trenner.
Yeah, well.
Coach Johnson's worried it's become the Minden Tribune. All right. Here's Thursday's schedule. The Big Harold Scott invite, my favorite cross-country meet of the year. Love to see the Tigers go out there and really compete against those big schools. Boys tennis will be heading to Holdridge. Softball hosting the Platters. We got some reserve volleyball heading for York. And the varsity volleyball is going to be hosting Holdridge. So big week for some home volleyball games. People need to get out and get into the gym. Are you headed for Seward on Friday, Trenner?
I will probably partake that on Strive. So,
all right. Well, we'll have the Strive Network out of Seward to watch that game from Seward University. Make sure you call them Seward Concordia University. All right, Tren. What's your word for the week here? What are you thinking?
Go Tigers. Let's beat some Swamp Rats and get some W's.
All right, go Tigers.